For the second row, you are the one? Yes.
You are very welcome.
I didn't even have a ticket to come here today, but I knew I was supposed to be here.
This is the first moment we've ever actually felt regret.
Okay, so in 2006, I was in Hawaii for the first time, and I had this voice tell me that I didn't have to be afraid of anything, and I could just be happy for the rest of my life. And so I went home, and I quit my job, and I sold my business, and I got divorced, and I walked out of the courtroom with $23.50 and the stuff in my apartment, and 8 months later, I sold everything in my apartment and walked out with a backpack. And people said, well, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I think I'm going to win the lottery. And I know, yeah. So for those 2 years...
Were you grateful for having left all of that behind?
Faithful.
Grateful.
Yeah, right, yes. And finding things to appreciate every day. And so for the 2 years up until that, I'd been playing the lottery. And in the middle of 2008 in the summer, I said, all right, for F's sake, we've already had the fuck thing today. So
This seminar is going to be an editor's nightmare.
So I said, for F's sake, if I'm supposed to win the lottery, give me the numbers. So, no, you don't want to ask that. So within a couple of weeks, these numbers start showing up. And I'm like, so that's one of the numbers, that's one of the numbers. And then after 3 numbers showed up in completely bizarre ways, way too long to tell the story, I started looking for the numbers instead of letting them show up in these magical ways. And I drove myself batshit crazy, like on my knees in tears, and I said, for Christmas' sake, if stop doing this to me. If I'm supposed to have these numbers, just give them to me all in one time. And at the time I was riding a bicycle down the West Coast. No kidding. The last day of this bicycle ride, 3 blocks from here on Avion Boulevard at a Thai food restaurant, all the numbers showed up, including the first 3 that came to me magically. Oh yeah, you think that's a gift? It's not. Because for the last 2 years and 5 months, I have had so much resistance built up. And finally I said...
So did you play the numbers?
Oh yeah! In every state and crazy and this one being the mega ball and that one being the Powerball, and today's the day. I'm like, today's the day, and no. And now, in like the last month, I'm like, I don't even care anymore. I'm so done. I've created so much resistance and so much misery. I cannot believe I am talking to you. So much resistance and so much misery. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not even going to buy another ticket. You are literally going to have someone buy the ticket with that numbers, and it's going to have to blow into my hand because I'm done. And I'm deliriously happy. I am just, I don't even really have a question.
So
I'm just wanting to know, is it possible to desire something so much that it gets you to a place of happiness and you don't actually wind up getting what you wanted, but you're deliriously happy, and every time you think about not having that thing that brought you to that place, that you've...
Well, what was the message that you received? The first message that you
exactly.
received?
It's that I could be happy every day for the rest of my life, and I didn't have to worry. And I don't. And when I don't worry, amazing things happen. Like where the heck was I? I was up in Northern California.
Did the message say you can be happy for the rest of your life provided you buy the appropriate lottery ticket?
No.
Did the message say you can be happy for the rest of your life provided you rendezvous with the right numbers and put them in the right sequence and
No.
apply them at the right time? So
No.
where did that come from?
Yeah, I created that. I made that happen, and it's like, okay, and then maybe just to keep me alive until I could get to this place where I've been happy every day.
So where are you now? What do you think? What
Homeless.
do you? Where do you? Vibrationally speaking, where do you? In other words, there is something to be said about giving up. But what you're giving up is not your desire. What you're giving up is your hard work outside the vortex. What you're giving up is your justification for well-being. What you're giving up is trying to define by yourself the specific thought path in order to make things come about. In other words, we talked about this in the very early conversation this morning when we talked about all of the thoughts that could be thought and all of the paths that could be followed, and the difference between doing it the hard way, which is trying to, in other words, there aren't that many numbers. There are not that many numbers, but the combinations of numbers are infinite.
175 million of them.
So when you think, and he tried them all.
Almost.
So what you are expressing back to us in very real, emphatic, heartfelt, real life experience terms is what we were getting at when we talk about the difference between trying to make it happen and getting into a place where you allow it to happen, and how in order to be able to read, in other words, it's not an off-the-wall enthusiasm that is your indicator that you've found the winning combination. It's your consistent, relaxed, confident, peaceful, well-being state of being that lets you know. In other words, it's a normal thing for something to happen that spikes your enthusiasm. And it's a normal thing to feel enthusiastic about something. We're not trying to guide any of you away from following that sort of bliss. But what you're reaching for, when you're reaching for consistent guidance that comes forth from non-physical, it's not a bouncing off the wall enthusiasm. It's a not jumping on a stage and picking Esther up and throwing her around enthusiasm, knocking her microphone from her ear enthusiasm.
You'll get over it.
Say again?
You'll get over it.
Well, there isn't anything that we can't survive. But we're talking about you, not us. In other words, we're talking about not a containment of energy. We're talking about an understanding of energy. We're talking about an understanding of emotions so that you know where you are vibrationally. In other words, if someone says to you, the answer to your dreams is in this specific place, it's these numbers on this lottery ticket, that's someone who's not giving you the secret to the joyful life experience that you were asking for. In other words, the secret to the joyous life experience that you are asking for is a resignation, a resigning into the understanding that well-being is yours right now. Standing in a place where you are frantically trying to win the prize couldn't be further from the prize, you see. And you had that experience that we've never heard anyone express with more clarity or more vibrational accuracy meaning that the words matched the vibrational intent that you'd come to, than what you offered when you said, I give up. And we want to reflect back to you that what you've given up is not the dream, it's the struggle. What you've given up is not the source and not the energy that creates worlds, it's the trying to access it from outside inside the vortex. And if you can take away from this gathering an understanding that you still have access to all of that, but that it will come to you in the incremental ways, and when it comes, it feels good when it comes. These are the most powerful words that we've ever spoken to anyone, and we want to speak them in a hair-blowing back experience to you by saying to you that it's in the lack of effort, in the lack of the need for effort, that you have found this energy that creates worlds. Because alignment doesn't take effort. Alignment takes focus. And there's a big difference between the effort that you were expressing and the focus that we've been talking about all day here today. So when we say, so where are you? We were not talking about your physical condition or what is surrounding you in terms of assets or manifestations. We meant, where are you vibrationally? And where you are vibrationally is without wads of resistance that you've carried around for a long time. And if you can take the basis of that you accomplished before you walked into this room, and add to it the confirmation that our calling you to the hot seat must give you. In other words, there are hundreds of people in this room.
I love
many of them with much more brilliant things to talk about than you did. But because of the vibrational placement, because of where you are vibrationally and the power of your intent, you were the perfect person to bring to the hot seat in this moment. That's that confirmation that you're looking for, that your vibrational frequency is in a place where if you can maintain this sense of allowing. So we want to give you a sort of stream of words here. And the experience you had with all of that effort and all of those numbers and all of those tickets and all of that experience that brought you to your knees, as you said, into an I give up experience. The place that you now stand is in a place of pure allowing of yourself to be the cooperative component that your vortex already has lined up for you. So the thing that's a little bit tricky is that you conjured all of these, you even said to us, I started making it up. I started making up the ways that it was coming because you wanted so much to hear that voice again. You wanted so much for someone to just give you the shortcut to all of this. Shortcut is the strongest vibration that we feel from you. I want the shortcut. I want the direct path to all of this. And the direct path, we've been talking about this all day, is the difference between sorting out all the thoughts and just finding the vibrational place. The short path, the shortcut, is finding the vibrational place. So we want you to reflect back to us through words, and we'll listen and give you feedback about it. We want you to speak about your life right now in the most general of terms. Which means we want you to speak of your life right now in the most emotional of terms. In other words, general emotional words that define, not because the universe needs to hear it because you're already there, but because as you speak it, you will maintain it longer. We've been saying to people, get into the vortex and milk it. And so you had a long, hard way into the vortex. In other words, you literally, day by day, had to deconstruct everything that you believed in until you brought yourself to a place where you now, can you hear what we're saying?
Yeah,
you literally deconstructed every belief you had about all of that and brought yourself to this place.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. It was a long, hard way to go about it, but here you are having deconstructed all of that. So now what you want to begin to do, don't tell that story again. That reconstructs it. Okay. It was a glorious story, and we all received it fully, and it was vibrationally accurate, and we believed every word of it, and it has served you enormously well, and it has created a vortex for you that is of enormous value to you. And now you've deconstructed because it was the only thing you could do and survive all of those beliefs and all of those bogus thoughts. And here you are, pure and naked under the universe, saying, this is who I now am.